Hey guys, my name's Ken from Running Lab, and today I'm here to talk about the really exciting shoe that Brooks has coming out that almost nobody has heard of, which is pretty amazing this day and age with all the shoe leaks that you see out there constantly. But I think because it doesn't have a swoosh on the side of it, that this has been kept under wraps pretty well. So pretty excited to show everyone today the new shoe from Brooks that'll be coming out June 10th, the Brooks Aurora. So the Brooks Aurora is a cushion trainer from Brooks's Blue Line group, which is kind of their advanced concepts lab that this is now their fourth shoe. They are responsible for the Hyperion Elite, the Hyperion Tempo, the new Cascadia 16 that's coming out this fall, and then this shoe. So this shoe, though, has a special story to it in that there's only going to be 7,000 pair made, which is pretty amazing this day and age because the amount of R&D and the cost for molds are pretty expensive. Shoe companies rarely do very small runs like this, so 7,000 pair is pretty awesome in that this will be a one and done type shoe to test the technology that is in this shoe. So the technology that's in this shoe is the new foam, the DNA Loft version 3. So that's basically their current DNA Loft, which you'll find in Glycerin and Ghost and a lot of their key models, and it'll be nitrogen infused. Now, I don't really feel like that it's a super foam, but what it is it's a foam that's a little more resilient than their current DNA Loft, is what I got out of it in the testing that I did. So, but 7,000 pair, they're never going to make a pair again after this initial 7,000 pair run of the Aurora. There will be no Aurora 2. So this is kind of a surprise one and done type shoe. What you are going to see is that this foam and this technology is going to be used in future shoes. Namely, the Glycerin is the only shoe I know of at this moment, but it may be used in some other ones that I haven't seen yet for 2022. But the Glycerin is definitely going to have this new DNA Loft version 3. So what Brooks is doing is they're putting this quick hit product out into the market to just kind of get a sense of what everybody likes about the foam, some comments, durability, all of that, and in this kind of fun project of the Brooks Aurora. So a little bit about, I've been running in this shoe for a couple months now, on and off. I'm rotating with some other stuff, but this shoe is, in my mind, is purely meant to be a daily trainer, but it can, there really is there's no speed aspect to it. I didn't really feel like you could use it for your speed days, although if it was your sole trainer, I guess, you definitely could, because it's, for a men's 9, it's at 8.5 ounces. So a women's is going to be 7.6 ounces. So it feels light on your foot, but there's a lot of protection underneath there too. The stack heights is 26 millimeters in the heel and 20 millimeters in the forefoot. So you got a 6 millimeter drop on this shoe. Some of the things running in it, I'll start with the upper. The upper is, let's actually just talk about the looks of the shoe. The looks, it looks like a futuristic shoe, and I think that was the goal behind this, is to make it look like nothing else out there and look like it was something from the future, and I think they definitely achieved that. It doesn't look like anything else on the wall right now. So I think as far as like an attention-grabbing design, Brooks hit it out of the park on this one. The upper on this shoe is super lightweight. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to kind of stick my hand in there. That's how breathable it is. You can really see when I have my foot in it, and no matter what color sock I'm wearing, I can see it all the way completely through that shoe. So this has incredible breathability, and it is going to, for those hot summer months that are coming up, this shoe's going to breathe really well. So you'll be able to run a lot of miles, and the air will flow right through there. The other piece that I noticed that was kind of different was this like internal construction booty here. So this internal wrapping piece was probably one of my least favorite things about the shoe. I'm not sure if it was necessarily needed, but because I didn't really feel like it gave me any extra wrapping effect, but this was a sample. So the sample is, it might not be done or might not be spec to what the actual production pair would be. So I happen to be sample size, so that's why I was able to test this pair out really early. So this may change, but this really didn't feel like it locked down my midfoot as much as maybe this wrapping piece intended to. I felt like they could have used one less eyelet of shoelaces here, but I didn't really feel like it wasn't too loose where it gave me blisters or anything, and it also wasn't too tight. It was just, it was a decent wrap, but it didn't lock me down like anything, like some of the other shoes that I like the Endorphin Speed or like a Vaporfly. So the other thing is the heel fit. Is the other thing I really want to talk about is, so you're seeing like these foam heels, or what you call like an ultra heel and like a New Balance 1080. You kind of see that used in the Brooks Aurora. The heel construction, it doesn't really have a heel counter. It's very soft, very pliable, very flexible. I didn't really feel like it grabbed my heel a lot, but I didn't feel like my heel was slipping at all. So, I don't know really how to take that, other than I like to feel the heel grab the back of my foot at least a little bit, and on this one, it didn't really, and it's a little shallow. So again, there may be some adjustments in production. I want to kind of put that out there because the samples sometimes are not always 100%. They're still doing some final fit testing. These samples were completed, months ago. So I would say that there would be some final adjustments once they got all the feedback back from the wear testers. But this is not going to be, I don't think, the grippiest heel in the upper. So overall, it fit well. I wouldn't say that it locked down my midfoot or my heel as well as I would have wanted to, but I have a pretty skinny foot, so I'm on the borderline of a medium or a narrow width. So, but I wear mediums and everything. So my foot's a little particular when it comes to midfoot and heel fit. Moving on to and it also fit true to size, so I'd want to mention that. So I wore a 9 in this, and it fit perfect. I wear a 9 in everything, so there was no change there. So I would say, if you're interested in this shoe, it's going to fit true to size. The big thing I want to talk about, though, is the midsole, which is, the big story on this shoe. So the foam on this is going to be that DNA Loft V3. And it's got an interesting decoupling platform here, where it's supposed to provide like a smooth, kind of like that smooth transition, and I think they really achieved that. This kind of worried me a little bit, this breaking point here, because it kind of gave me nightmares of the an older shoe that they had, the Brooks Nero, which had that breaking point there, but it was a straight breaking point. There was no kind of like S curve in the break here, and it seems like this created a lot of stability, even though it's a flex groove that goes all the way through the midsole, which usually does not pan out when companies try to do something like this. It either creates a dead spot or your foot feels like it's kind of falling through the midsole. I didn't feel that. I actually felt like this, there was no flexion points here, but the only flexion point is here, and it felt super smooth. So I loved the ride of this and how it transitioned from heel to forefoot, which, I feel like there's some shoes that just don't do that well nowadays, especially with a lot of the rocker soles. So I think they did a great job of creating that hinge point for a lot of different foot types. So I strike more midfoot, but I could see somebody that strikes a little bit more on the heel, or even somebody strikes a little more forefoot. The shoe kind of adapts to, you know, what you're doing. The torsional rigidity seemed really good, even though there's a lot of flexion there. Probably has to do with how wide the base is on this shoe. I mean, if you look, this thing's kind of a monster, and you look top down, there's a lot of surface area that spreads out over the sides of the shoe, which I actually like as a characteristic in a lot of shoes. So the other thing is the outsole, very minimal outsole. The cushioning on this is going to be on par with, you know, a lot of your 1080 glycerins. I wouldn't say it's like, I think a lot of people are going to compare this to the Invincible. The Invincible is a lot softer than this. This is firmer cushion, but I wouldn't say it's super foam cushion. It's not going to give you this crazy rebound. It pushes back on you, but I wouldn't say that it's, you know, in the same lengths of a DNA Flash or ZoomX or even, you know, like a fuel cell type foam from New Balance. There is no plate in this shoe. So a lot of you are probably wondering that. There is no plate. So this shoe doesn't have a plate. It is just a training shoe with great cushion, and that's going to be able to handle the day in and day out miles. I think they did a great job, and you know, it remains to be seen, but I think they're utilizing this cushioning and this tech in future shoes is going to be pretty awesome for Brooks. Price point, $200. So I think what we're doing is we're paying for a premium for all the R&D that went into the shoe and the low quantity of pairs that they're making. So in reality, I mean, the glycerin, I don't know what the price is going to be for the next glycerin, but I would guess in the 150, 160 range. And if this cushioning is going into that price point, that's where you're going to see this cushioning, you know, applied to probably the price point that it belongs in. What you're getting is an exciting shoe that you're going to be able to, that limited amount of people are going to be able to try out and wear, and it's going to work for, I would guess, a lot of different people. You know, it's light enough, but yet it's sturdy enough that a lot of different body types could go into this shoe. So, Brooks Aurora, June 10th, 7,000 pair being made nationwide, going to be available on runninglabstore.com at midnight on June 10th, and very select pairs through us and other retailers. So running specialty stores across the country are going to be getting this shoe. Not all, but definitely some. So, you know, if you're interested in this shoe at all, start asking your nearest run specialty store if you're going to be getting it. So thanks a lot. Leave any questions in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys later.